History often forgets its fiercest warriors, especially when they were women, especially when they wore armor, carried blades, and fought alongside men in the blood-soaked fields of feudal Japan. But some stories refuse to fade. Some legends rise from the ashes of forgotten scrolls and battlefield dust. And one such legend rides in with a bow on her back, a naginata in her hands, and a soul forged in steel. Her name was Tomoe Gozen, and in an age where women were expected to serve tea and bear sons, she served death on a battlefield instead. The time was the late 1100s Japan was a nation tearing itself apart. The Genpei War had split the land in two. On one side, the powerful Taira clan. On the other, their bitter rivals, the Minamoto clan. For 20 years, samurai clashed in brutal skirmishes, villages burned, and emperors were made and unmade by the sword. In the middle of this chaos stood Minamoto no Yoshinaka, a rising general of the Minamoto clan, ambitious, bold, ruthless. He wanted not only to defeat the Taira, he wanted to take control of the entire Minamoto clan and rule Kyoto himself. By his side, in nearly every battle, was not another general, not a fellow lord, but a woman, Tomoe Gozen. No one knew exactly where she came from. Some say she was born to a noble family. Others say she was trained from childhood in the art of war, raised more like a son than a daughter. What's not debated is this: she was a force of nature. She could ride a war horse like the wind. She could shoot arrows while galloping full speed. She could wield a sword against 10 men and not blink. The war chronicles described her as beautiful, fearless, and strong as 1,000 warriors. She didn't just fight, she led. At a time when women were considered property, Tomoe Gozen was commanding troops. She wore full armor breastplate, helm, katana by her side. She charged into battle alongside men who had trained their entire lives, and often she emerged as the last one standing. She was more than a warrior. She was Yoshinaka's lover, his protector, his right hand, and perhaps his equal. They rode together through countless victories. She helped him capture Kyoto. She fought at Yokotagawara, cutting down enemies with such fury that even hardened generals began to fear the Lady of War. But power breeds enemies. And when Yoshinaka grew too bold seizing Kyoto, defying his cousin Minamoto no Yoritomo, the de facto leader of the clan, he became a target. Yoritomo was not amused by his cousin's ambition. He sent 2 of his best generals, Minamoto no Yoshitsune, the famed strategist, and Noriari to crush him. The betrayal came fast. Yoshinaka was forced to flee with only a handful of men. Tomoe rode with him fighting off enemies as they retreated, shielding his back as arrows rained around them. The final stand came at the Battle of Awazu in 1184. It was snowing. The ground was soaked with blood. Yoshinaka knew he would die. He had just 5 warriors left, surrounded, outnumbered, no escape. And this is where legend and reality blur. Some say Yoshinaka turned to Tomoe and said, "A woman's death is not honorable. Leave now." That even in death, he wanted her to be spared. Others say he was jealous, that he couldn't bear to be remembered as the man who died beside a woman stronger than himself. Tomoe refused. She charged into the enemy lines. Alone, she found one of their fiercest warriors, Honda no Mauritius, a giant of a man, feared across the land and challenged him to single combat. As hundreds watched, she drew her katana and fought with fury, not as a last act of desperation, but as a declaration that she would not be erased, that she would not fade into legend without earning it, and she killed him. With one clean stroke, she cut off his head, tied it to her saddle, and vanished into the storm. After that, Tomoe Gozen disappeared from the pages of official history. Some say she took the head to Yoshinaka, only to find him already fallen, pierced with arrows. Others believe she vanished into the mountains, becoming a nun to atone for the blood she spilled. Some stories say she was captured, forced into marriage by a rival general. Others claim she became a wandering ronin and outlaw samurai, a ghost on horseback. But the truth? The truth is that no one ever forgot her name. Even in a culture that worshipped masculine honor and bushido, they whispered her legend. Painters depicted her on scrolls. Poets wrote of her grace and slaughter. Female warriors in later centuries invoked her name before battle. She became not just a story, but a standard. Tomoe Gozen didn't fight for glory. She didn't fight for a throne. She fought because she could. Because she had the heart of a warrior and the soul of a storm. And in doing so, she carved out a space in history where no woman was ever meant to be. Think of what it meant centuries ago for a woman to command armies, to love fiercely and fight harder, to be remembered not for who she bore, but for who she buried. She was a contradiction the world couldn't process. Beauty and brutality, loyalty and independence, discipline and defiance. She didn't fit the mold of warrior or woman, and that is exactly why she broke through it. Today, she's still rarely taught. Her story left out of most textbooks. Her name barely known outside Japan. But in the right circles, among historians, martial artists, and those who still believe in the power of legacy, Tomoe Gozen is immortal. She rode into a man's world and never asked for permission. She spilled blood, broke rules, and loved on her own terms. She was not a victim of war. She was war, so remember her. Not just as a woman who fought, but as a warrior who made history bleed. And if stories like this ignite something inside you, if you believe that the forgotten deserve to be remembered, like, subscribe, and ring the bell. Because we're not here to retell history. We're here to resurrect it. This isn't just the story of a samurai. It's the story of a woman who should have been erased and became a legend instead.